Are you celebrating with anything Canadian today with a Canadian #1? Congratulations.
Well, yesterday I saw my Canadian friend Megan Patrick, so that's some Canadian celebrating right there now.
Great way to celebrate. I always say she seems like the coolest girl I've ever met. So you have 10 minutes to beat her.
Oh my gosh.
No, but like when you finally come here, because you're going to do a show that everybody's losing their mind over in this city, that I'm pretty sure it's sold out in like seconds. So when you're here, we'll have to celebrate like Canadian poutine, and we'll give you like a coffee crisp and so like a double from Tim Hortons. We'll do like a big Canadian #1.
Oh my gosh. Y'all gonna fatten me up, send me right back. I love it.
I don't know if you followed any of the TikTok trends that were surrounding you specifically. But the fact that it was like a viral, like a million girls making videos being like, my biggest flex in life is either that I look like or I'm built like Lainey Wilson. I was watching those videos going, oh my gosh, like this must be the highest form of flattery when you're watching these videos going, geez.
It was funny. It was really funny to watch. And I love that the trend. I mean, at first I was like, what in the world is going on? Like, of course I was a little shocked.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be this little thing that kind of just eventually went away. But that was not the case. And I literally still get on TikTok and I still see my big old butt up on there. And I'm like, y'all, it's been months. We get it. I got a big old rear end. I mean, we get it. I can't ever see the thing. It's behind me.
but I will say a lot of it too, like I did see versions of it in plentifulness where they were talking about that they have the same style as you or that they look like you just in general, and it was like, this is my biggest flex in life. So I just thought that must have been like pretty cool for you to be like, all right.
It was really cool. It was. I love seeing all the girls in the bell bottoms and just the whole body positivity thing. Of course social media can get dark. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a lot of the things that I saw, people were just having fun with it. So I was like, hey, whatever brings the people in at this point, right?
Well, and it's a celebration of, I feel like I'm not even allowed to talk about this thing because it's creepy. Like, I'm like, I shouldn't, but it's a celebration of things where sometimes people get a little in their head about how they look. And this is just a big celebration of like, this is me and I love it. And I think that that's like the biggest.
You know what? It ripped the Band-Aid off for me. It really did. I was like, hey, now I know at the end of the day, people gonna talk no matter what. So might as well just roll with it. I mean, like for instance, Dolly Parton. I mean, she got the top, I got the bottom, and and she's proud of it.
I think it's probably pretty incredible for you. I can only imagine with how much people are talking about you now and your music and Yellowstone and everything. Like the hype surrounding your show in Calgary.
It was wild.
Is like just sold out so fast. We're getting calls from people of all ages, like being like, where's the pre-sale code? And we're like, I don't know.
It's gone.
I'm
so sorry.
I can't go. We're so
it's
sorry.
so wild and unique too. Like I've noticed at a lot of my shows lately, you're right about the whole like people across the entire age range. I see little girls, I see old men, I see little boys, I see old women. And it's crazy to think that we're connecting to a lot of different kind of folks. And that's what country music can bring literally everybody together.
So you mentioned something earlier, and I've been wanting to ask you this, because obviously bell-bottom country, it's a massive trend, and you're seeing people in bell-bottoms. Why, are you just like a 70s baby, and you're like, I just needed to, like you've always had that style, or what made you want to bring that in?
So I've just been a fan of things that are throwback in general. I was 9 years old when my mama bought me my very first pair of bell bottoms. They were blue leopard print. And I remember just wearing them outside, playing on the horses. It did not matter. I would never take those pants off. And eventually my mama was like, Lainey, we got to wash these pants. You got to take them off. So, but I just love things that are throwback. I think they come with a good story, and I'm a sucker for a good story. I mean, I'm from a town of 200 people where there's not a whole lot to do. And what we would do is we'd sit around and tell stories, or I'd listen to the same old stories I've been hearing for years, but the kind of stories that get better every single time that you hear them, or you hear something else about them that you didn't before. And yeah, I mean, if you walk in my house, you'll see my daddy's old rodeo chaps hanging up on the wall, or my mama's old china cabinet. I love all of it. I love aesthetically, musically, all of it.
Do you still have the pants, the leopard print?
From when you're
I think
9?
my mama has them somewhere in the attic. I told her the other day, I said, you might be needing to go dig for those things.
There was a pair of pants that I had like that my grandma cut into rags while I was out.
No!
Because I wore them so much. So I'm glad that they held on to them and really appreciated your love, because obviously the style came back. So.
Oh my gosh. That is funny.
I have to tell you, every now and then you hear a song differently than other people will hear it. Heart Like a Truck, obviously it's a monster song. It's your first #1 as a solo artist. And when I first heard it, my father-in-law is a massive car guy. And he's not really a big talker. So for him to speak at our wedding was a big thing. And I've never heard a better father-in-law speech in my life. His whole thing was comparing my now wife and putting her as an ad as a used car. So hearing your song, Heart Like a Truck, I just made that connection in my brain of like, oh, this is amazing. Like this makes me feel like I'm at my wedding again.
Oh my gosh, I need to hear it. You got video footage of that?
I don't think you would let us.
You did not do it justice. You just described your wife as an old
No,
car.
I didn't.
Yeah. He's in the doghouse.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you can, you hear certain songs and you attach it to certain memories, and it's pretty sweet.
Now, when it comes to Heart Like a Truck, did you know right away after the first mix you heard, after you wrote it? When did you know, like, I think this might be a big one?
We were actually writing the song in the middle of the pandemic, and we were writing it from a completely different angle. I mean, we were writing it as more of kind of like a rockin', like I got a heart like a truck, just kind of gritty. It still is a gritty song, but I don't think we were being as honest as we needed to be with ourselves and the people who were going to be listening to the song. So we kind of channeled what we were feeling right there smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. And we just kind of stopped about 30 minutes in and said, all right, it's time to just kind of rip off the Band-Aid and be honest with ourselves. So it truly became an anthem about being okay with the scratches and the dents and the bumps along the way. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes you you, and that's what gives you a story to tell. So I knew pretty soon, especially after I got out of the studio with my producer, Jay Joyce, I knew that it was a special song. I just did. I kind of had that weird feeling.
Did it blow your mind, or does it blow your mind rather, to think about the fact that if you guys had just been sitting there writing and went with that like hardcore thing, and you were like, this isn't super honest, but like it's another song, so that's fine, It works, and then moved on to another idea? Like, do you ever think about like how your life might have been different if you just went with the original plan?
Oh, for sure. I think everything happens for a reason, and I think every song was born for a reason. During the pandemic, I wrote 300 plus songs, and
that's crazy.
At the end of the day, a lot of them were terrible, but at least they got me to that next song. And I truly believe that is a real thing. Even if those songs never see the light of day, they got me to that point. And I'm very grateful. And I do think about it. I'm like, what if that song was never here? What would it even look like? I can't even imagine it.
Well, I know as a fan of yours, and like I can probably speak for all of us when I say I would literally pay $1 million to look through your notes app in your phone just to see like what kind of ideas are coming to your head.
Girl, you're gonna be like, what in the world does that mean? Look, my mama will text me. She will text me ideas, and what was the last one she sent me? She said, they're terrible. She probably won't see this interview.
Come
on. What did she say? I got a bat for that, like talking about a boy cheating and then like messing up his vehicle and stuff. I'm like,
you're just throwing it in there like grocery list, grapes, strawberries, bread. I got a bat for that. And you're in the grocery store like, wait, what? What idea was that?
You mentioned all the different people you see at your shows now. How many people show up to those shows wearing some sort of Yellowstone merchandise when you're looking out at the crowd?
A lot. It's really crazy looking out there and just seeing, the hats, the t-shirts. Some people call me Abby because that was my name on the show. There's been a few times I'll be walking down the street and people be like, Abby, and I know who they're talking to. I'm like, it's strange, but Yellowstone has been so good to me, and is really a huge opportunity for me to share my music with the world. And I really do think it kind of helped people put a face to a name, because I feel like a lot of, you hear a lot of people on the radio and you have no clue who they really are. You just know the song.
Yep.
And I think that's what it helped with me.
So I, you know how you get sucked in by those ridiculous BuzzFeed clickbait articles? I read one over the weekend that was like 15 actors talk about what it was like to join a massively successful show midway through. So now I get to talk to you about that article. Thanks, BuzzFeed. Like, what is that like? You know, this show is the biggest thing going, and now you're adding to it. Was there pressure? Was there nerves? Was it just like, whatever, this show's already huge?
You know, Taylor Sheridan, the writer and producer, I had been friends with him a few years prior because they had put a few of my songs in the show, but I got to meet him out west. We pretty much just kind of shook hands and bonded over horses. So I kind of felt comfortable around him. I knew that like other opportunities were going to come from having a friendship with him. I didn't know that I was going to end up on the dang show like this, but he called me last February and he said, you know, I've got this idea. He said, I want you to wear your own bell bottoms. I want you to sing your own songs and pretty much be yourself, but go by a musician named Abby. And without even thinking about it, I've never acted a day in my life. I just said, I was like, I'm there. You let me know when. So it was one of those things where I didn't even have time to think about what was really going on. It was like I got in there. My first scene was with Beth. That was pretty scary at first because I thought she was going to put me in a headlock. But turns out she's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And really the whole cast and crew was. I mean, they welcomed me with open arms. They were all fans of the music and they just made me feel comfortable. So it was like scarier looking back on it.
It was probably a huge testament to you, like going in there. People are like, okay, so we know her, or we've heard of her. We like her music. We love her music. And then they watch you act and then you kill it. It's like, I don't know if you watched that movie, Don't Worry, Darling, but it was Harry Styles' first debut in acting. And I think everyone was like, how's this going to go? And then everybody walked away loving him even more. And I think that the same thing happened for you, in my personal opinion. And that's just really cool that it was kind of like your big debut in that. And then it blew up your whole life in every which way. That must be pretty unbelievable to think about. It
is crazy. It is. I mean, just all the little things and big things that have added up to just get to this moment. You know, I think about it and I'm like, I wonder which moments really were the most like powerful or the ones that were the most important. And the truth is, I think it's just a combination of
everything.
All of it. Yep.
So I know you probably have another interview to get to and we kind of went over time, but we'll get you out of here on this. Give us one moment from the set of Yellowstone that maybe nobody's heard that will stand out to you most. Maybe Kevin said something to you or there was a moment that happened.
Look, this is embarrassing and I don't even know why I'm sharing it with y'all, but I'm about to share it with you anyway.
Oh my gosh.
I had just come off the road and because we were in the middle of touring while we were filming and everything. And I had just flown in. We went straight to like the wardrobe area and I just threw on my stuff, hair, makeup, got to set and realized I had forgot to shave my armpits. Well, in the bunkhouse, they have razors and they have deodorant and everything that has been on set for, when I tell you, as long as they've been filming, like things were like dry rotting in there.
Oh no.
And I went into the bunkhouse and I was like, hey, you do what you got to do. So I used their razor right there. I'm like, I hope nobody's used this one. I broke it in for them.
Oh, just like a rusty razor.
It hurt so bad.
Yes, it hurt.
Oh, you know what? They always say celebrities are real people too.
That's right.
Because I do that in my own house, but.
That's right. We all put our pants on the same way, right? One leg at a time.
Exactly.
We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, y'all. Be good.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.